I mean, I don't know if you can tell by everything. I think Harry Potter is very overrated. I didn't get into it at all. I didn't think the characters were enjoyable at all. The world building, I mean, she could do a lot better. And the world, I mean, who wants to live in Hogwarts? I can't even go on because seriously, we're talking about Harry Potter, okay? I thought it would be really fun for my second video to do a Harry Potter tag because obviously I love Harry Potter. Question 1. What is your favorite book? My first instinct says Half-Blood Prince because so much happens in this book. I mean, you see a different side of Dumbledore, you start to learn about Horcruxes, but you still don't quite know what the Horcruxes are in this book, so there's still kind of a mystery surrounding that. But I feel like Dumbledore and Harry's relationship in this really takes a turn. It becomes more mature. The whole series becomes more mature. It becomes more real. And I think Harry starts to realize in this book that this may not be a positive outcome for him, and that it may be a lot more dangerous than he thought. And then I think in this book he starts to realize more about himself, more that he shares a part of Voldemort in him, and I don't think he wants to admit that in this book, but I think he starts to feel that in his book, but he doesn't tell anybody. Dumbledore starts to treat Harry Potter more as an adult and not a child anymore in this one. I mean, he still wants to protect him, but I think he brings him in a lot more in this book, and because he knows I mean, we know the ending here, but he knows at this point that he's not going to live long and he needs Harry to kind of grow up really quickly. And this book just becomes a lot more mature and he starts to know what he needs to do. Yeah. And there's fun parts, like the Weasleys start opening up their business in this one, and it's so fun to see their business and everything that they've been working on. Honestly, this is like having to pick between my children right now, like to pick which child is my favorite. And this tag is a lot harder than I thought it was gonna be. It's really hard to choose which order of favorites because first one I think of is Half-Blood Prince, the second one I think of is Prisoner of Azkaban, because when I was reading all of these, Prisoner of Azkaban was the first one that really grabbed me and separated it from everything else. The first two books obviously are just really fun, but this one really separated itself from the first two. Why do I love this one so much? The time turner aspect of it is just brilliant, so awesome. And in the movie I think that they do that really well. I mean, obviously in this book we get introduced to Sirius and Lupin, and they're two of my absolute favorite people. I love the very beginning of this book and the movie. We're in the train with the Dementors and Lupin just happens to be in their cabin. I don't know why, I just love him giving him chocolate of everything. I don't know. I don't know. You just chocolate cures everything. Just Sirius Black and Lupin. I just love them. I love them. I love them. I love them. I mean, I love them all. Like, let's be real, but Deathly Hallows is so good. It takes out of the norm of being at Hogwarts. We're not at Hogwarts anymore. And I love just their isolated scenes. Like, we've had many a time with these three characters, but I think having them in atmospheres that they're not used to, and it really just showcases everything Hermione has been building up her life for. That's why I relate to Hermione so much. It's just she's always prepared. She's prepared for anything, and she's been practicing her whole life for this book, for this moment. I think this is just a pure test of their friendship, of them not having Hogwarts anymore, them just having themselves. You know, when they're at Hogwarts, they have Lupin, they have Mad-Eye Moody, they have all these, you know, McGonagall helping protect them. And in this book, they are alone a lot. And they don't have, you know, the restricted section of the library to help them out. Just seeing them figure things out, just the three of their resources, their brains, and seeing their relationships get pushed. And Snape. I mean, Snape's scene. I mean, this book is the reason why all of the books have meaning. Like, that meaning to me. So, I mean, this one will always be a favorite. It's just the first one off the top of my head is Half-Blood Prince. Prisoner of Azkaban, because I think it just took the series to the next level after that book. It was a turning point for me after reading the first two. Then you get to Prisoner of Azkaban and it's like, okay, I have to finish the rest of this. Then Deathly Hallows, I mean Snape. It's just, this book is the whole reason why this series means so much. I mean, they all mean so much, but this one just, takes that love home. It just takes the love home. There's so many parts to each of these books, and I'm having to edit myself because I could talk not even days. I could talk years, okay? Okay, let's just move on to the second question here. What is your favorite movie? Let's just talk about the score for Deathly Hallows Part 2. Well, just all of them, but specifically Deathly Hallows Part 2 during the whole Snape reveal. It just takes it to a whole another emotional level. And I think sometimes I just watch that one scene because it's so emotional. And that score, just... What is your least favorite book? I mean, this one's fun. It's got the Whomping Willow in the car and stuff. I don't know. I think it would be somewhere in between these two. This one was the introduction to all of our favorite characters. So, I mean, how could it be the worst? I don't know. But this one, I loved Chamber of Secrets too. So how about my least favorite of my favorites? It's like probably one of these two. Just pick one. Just do eeny, meeny, miny, moe and pick one. I don't know. So the parts of the books or movies that made you cry. I mean, Sirius Black dying was very emotional for me. I seriously love Sirius Black. Like, I seriously love him. Okay. First time reading through the series that kind of made me tear up and cry, and it was a big changing point in the whole series. I loved Cedric and Harry's relationship. Even though they were rivals, they still really helped each other. And Cedric was such a wonderful character. He was so brave, so kind. The first three are all consuming about Hogwarts and things that happen at Hogwarts, whereas Goblet of Fire kind of shakes things up and has the tournament. So it's not all just about that year at Hogwarts. It takes a complete turn when Cedric gets killed because of Voldemort. And obviously in, Order of the Phoenix, we have, the Voldemort deniers. And that takes a whole turn. When Cedric died, I got very emotional because it changed everything. And then it got really frustrating when people were denying the validity of the story and denying Voldemort. So it got very frustrating, and that was one of my first moments that I got really emotional for me. And I'll bring back Deathly Hallows because this book we lose a lot of our favorite people. I mean, Dobby was a very emotional scene. Dobby was a lot of the comic relief before, but then he became a very serious character when he did everything for Harry. And that's why in the movie in particular, when Dobby's dying and he says he gets to die with friends, and I still always cry. I mean, I got really sad when Fred died as well, just thinking about George and him being his twin, them being inseparable their whole lives, creating a business together. I just can't imagine George having to live a life without Fred. This is just an emotional book. It's all emotional. Oh, this is a silly question. If I could hook up with any character, who would it be? Oh, just being from like these serious things to this question. I don't think I was truly attracted to anyone. I mean, Cedric was so pretty to look at, and he was such a good guy. I mean, you gotta go for those good guys. Cedric was a babe, Oliver Wood was a babe, I mean, and he was a Quidditch star, and he was the captain. I mean, who wouldn't want a captain? Who is your favorite character? I mean, Sirius, Lupin, I mean, McGonagall. She always knew when to say something, she always knew when to speak out. She always stood up for her students, she stood up for Dumbledore. She's just freaking amazing. She tries to get you to not take life so seriously, but she knows when things are serious and she knows when shit needs to be done. Molly Weasley is just the ultimate mama bear. She is a lot like McGonagall. She knows what needs to get done. We have a lot of strong females in this book, and I always have a love for Ginny Weasley. I'm not sad about that relationship at all because, of course, a lot of people wanted Harry and Hermione. But Ginny was awesome. She was, the Quidditch captain. They played Quidditch together. She didn't need him in her life, she gave him space, but she knew what he had to do. And I think she knew if she lost him, that's just what, that was his duty. That's what he needed to do. She let him be Harry Potter. Harry Potter. Harry Potter. Harry Potter. Harry Potter. Harry Potter. I am American. I have so many favorite characters. I mean, Hagrid. So much joy. Damn you, Malfoy. Just bring So much drama. And I would say Hermione. Harry and Ron couldn't have done any of that without Hermione. Hermione always kept them on task, kept them on track. She's very quick on her toes. She's very composed. You hand her a challenge and she can figure it out. And I always related to her and I always loved her. Always. I would also say Luna Lovegood is one of my very favorite characters. There's a scene in the movie where Harry Potter's wanting to talk to Dumbledore's brother, and she just says, "Dad, listen, he's got bigger things going on in his brain. Just let him go. He doesn't want to talk right now." And I feel like that's so appreciated, and I try to be that person. Sometimes it comes across as rude and blunt, but Luna just says it, and I love that about her. I love how wise she is. I love that they really showcase a really great Ravenclaw. Everybody needs a Luna in their life, and that's why she's one of my favorites. What would your Patronus be? My Patronus would be a black jaguar, because that's so cool. I took the quiz on Pottermore, and guess what my Patronus is? Just like, guess what my Patronus is? I want my Patronus to be a black jaguar, but Pottermore wants my Patronus to be a badger. A badger. They don't know me at all. That doesn't fit me at all. JK, I love Pottermore, but a badger? Get out of here. Which Deathly Hallows would you choose? I wouldn't want to bring people back from the dead because that just seems like way too much power. I don't want any part of that. Probably would just choose the Elder Wand because I don't see myself as someone who would be bloodthirsty. I would use it for good and just made sure nobody else of evil could get a hold of it, even though. In reality though, if we're like speaking real here, like the Elder Wand was destroyed like a long time ago by Harry Potter. So really no one can have the Elder Wand. Like, I don't know. So what house would you be? I'd be Slytherin. I mean, let's be real. Who wouldn't want to hang out in the Slytherin common room? It just looks freaking awesome. If you could meet any cast member, who would it be? I would say Emma Watson because of everything that she does for human rights. I would just love to pick her brain. I'd love to talk to her about everything that she's working on and everything that she's moving towards. And freaking Beauty and the Beast coming up, more importantly than human rights. Have you played any of the video games? I remember when I had my PlayStation 1, I think that there was a Chamber of Secrets game that my parents bought me, but I don't really remember it that much. I remember having it, but I remember it being really hard, but I was also a kid. Later in my life, I've played all the Harry Potter Lego games, and those are freaking fun. But I've been wanting to collect some of the old games and replay them just for funsies. If you were on the Quidditch team, which position would you play? I'd probably be a chaser. And I'd probably be BFFs with Jenny. Jenny and I are BFFs. What are you gonna do about it? Were you happy with the ending? I was happy with the ending. I'm not happy about the 19 years later, and I don't think a lot of people are, but I kind of just stopped the movie after that. How much does Harry Potter mean to you? Harry Potter means a lot to me, and I would like it to continue to mean a lot to me. When I start to have a family, I would love to involve Harry Potter in our lives, and I'd love to read the books with them every night and read a chapter and get them involved and see their faces reading it for the first time, watching all the movies together. And then my dream is to go to Universal and we can go and get them their first wand. And I talked to some people who've never read Harry Potter, never really seen the movies, and they see me as it being childish of how much I love this series. And I don't think the movies are wonderful. The books are even better. And if you haven't read the books or watched the movie, you just don't understand how special it is. And I don't know why it's so special. It just is. It's just, once you read it, you can't unread it. And it changed my life in such a cheesy way. And I want to integrate it into my children's lives. And it's such a romantic thing for me. But I love it that much. I don't think I've ever read anything that just hits everything. And this book just hits everything for me. And I compare every book to it, be like, well, is it Harry Potter level? I mean, nothing's really Harry Potter level for me right now. That's why I'm reading a lot more, because hopefully I can find other books that mean to me as much as Harry Potter means to me. So thanks guys for watching this Harry Potter tag. I had a really fun time doing it. I just want to hug my Harry Potter books right now and then reread all of them. But I'm not going to do that. But I will. I would also recommend, if you have never listened to an audiobook of Harry Potter, I think you should. Obviously the Jim Dale versions on Audible are really great, and I did read Jim Dale once all the way through, and I think he does a really wonderful job, and I think a lot of the characters based their characters off of Jim Dale, but I do say that my all-time favorite audiobooks are the Stephen Fry's versions, if you can get your hands on those. I mean, Stephen Fry's versions of Harry Potter are just amazing. He does every voice so amazingly. Thanks for watching this video, and if you like me, you can subscribe down below. You can leave me a comment. I love getting all the comments. My first video, I got so much love, and I really appreciate it. I'm so happy that I'm doing this and I'm making these videos. So that's why I wanted to do the Harry Potter tag, because it's something warm and fuzzy, and I wanted to share my love for Harry Potter with you. Eventually I'll have a cool ending catchphrase, but for right now I'm gonna say bye! I am Slytherin. Just, what you gonna do about it? What you gonna do with all this junk? All this junk? Silent junk.